এটা পুরো গোল লাইভ করে পড়িও না হয়তো করে okay, good morning. Good morning. We should start the class. Today we have fundamental rights and DPSP. Okay, and in this class we will just cover some a little bit about the theory part. Then we shall go to the that is your question part. Okay, question part. So we start the class. Okay, so that is sorry. Sorry. Okay, we should start fundamental rights. What are rights? Rights are claims of an individual upon others. Okay, we mean by rights. We have some rights. So rights in the family, rights in the society. So also the country or the constitution grants us some rights. Okay, what types of rights are there in fundamental rights? There are, you can say, these are political rights. These are political rights. Okay, they give us, the country give us their political rights. Okay, and fundamental, why they are called fundamental rights? Okay, because they are basic human rights and they are protected by law. They are basic human rights. Okay, and they are protected by the constitution. Therefore they are called fundamental rights. How they are protected? They are protected that we have right to constitutional remedy. Okay, so in this way we can say that they are protected by law. Okay, now we shall move to the next slide. Okay, so fundamental rights, they are called fundamental rights because you can say because they are protected, and fundamental rights are are fundamental rights are borrowed from or are derived from, you can say, are derived from fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are taken from by inspired by American, the what is the USA Constitution, the USA Constitution. Okay, and USA Constitution. They are also they are also inspired by inspired by UN, United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. Okay, declared on that is December 10, 1948. Okay, they are also inspired by the UNDHR. What is UNDHR? United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. There are 30 human rights are codified, and they act as a source of inspiration for us. Okay, so fundamental rights are derived from the USA Constitution and by UNDHR. These are the sources of sources of fundamental rights. And in USA, FR's fundamental rights are known as bills of rights. Bills of rights. Okay, so that is the things about. They are known as the bills of rights. Okay. Now we shall move to the types of fundamental rights. Types. Okay. Originally there were originally there were seven fundamental rights. Originally there were seven fundamental rights. You can notice first is your right to equality, then right to freedom, then right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural educational rights, right to property was there, it was abolished. Okay, so it was right to constitution. Originally there were so originally means that is in 1950. In 1950, in 1950, there were seven constitutions. However, right to property was that is abolished by, as all of you know, that is which amendment? 1978. And who was the prime minister? Who was the PM at that time? Mr. Moraji Desai. Mr. Moraji Desai was the prime minister when fundamental right to property was abolished, and it is now placed in what is 300A, that is part X double I. Okay, part double X I. Okay, so therefore at present there are six fundamental rights. Six fundamental rights. Right to property, right to property, right to property, right to property is now a legal right. Legal rights. Okay, it's now a legal right or constitutional rights. Constitutional right. Got it? So that is the things right to property, and it was abolished for bringing about land reforms. Okay, and executing land distribution. There was a need felt by the government of India to abolish the right to property as a fundamental right, and simultaneous also in right to freedom that was there. In right to hold private property was also abolished from Article 19. Okay, from Article 19. Okay, right to, you can write here, that is right to hold private property, private property mentioned in Article 19. Article 19 was also abolished. Okay, so that is the things by 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978. Got it? So it was also a freedom to hold, right to freedom. A freedom to hold private property was mentioned in 19, was also abolished. So now therefore there are six freedoms in the that is, there are six freedoms in Article 19. There are six freedoms in 1950. Okay, so that is the things. So these are the types. Kindly remember the things. Okay, kindly remember the things, and because sometimes you may be asked questions like that. Okay, so now we shall move to the next slides. Features of fundamental rights. Features means characteristics of fundamental rights. What are the characteristics of fundamental rights? Okay, so first fundamental rights characteristic is that fundamental rights are enforceable, or justiciable. That means one can approach a court to enforce its fundamental rights. They are enforceable and justiciable by courts. Which court? Supreme Court and High Court. Okay. Then fundamental rights are not absolute. Not absolute means they can be restricted. They can be restricted by law. Law made by whom? Made by parliament. Made by parliaments, that is called, they can be restricted. Number, then fundamental rights are, they are they are not permanent rights. They are not permanent. Okay, that means they can be they can be amended. So you will be getting questions like this. Fundamental rights are permanent, not permanent means. Okay, they can be amended. They can be amended by parliament. Okay, so that is restricted by law for national interest for these things. Okay, then fundamental rights promote political rights and political democracy. They, if that is political democracy or political equality. Okay, so therefore these are the features. Enforceable is there, enforceable, that not absolute. Okay, they are restricted by law, they're not permanent. Okay, they are political democracy. That is the things you have to remember. Okay, now we shall move to the next thing about. Okay, next thing about, that is they are, that is some fundamental rights, some fundamental rights are also available to aliens. Aliens like Article 14, okay, Article 17, 18, 21, okay, then your 20, that is 22, 25 to 28. Okay, these are the Article 32. These are the some important rights that are available to the aliens. Aliens means we have discussed, that is some fundamental rights also available to aliens. Okay, so that is also a fact that you have to remember. 14, right, untouchability, abolition title, 21, 22, 25 to 28. Okay, so exclusively fundamental rights like fundamental rights that is mentioned fundamental rights mentioned in article. Namaskar Deepak Ranjan, how are you? Okay, article, that is fundamental rights mentioned in article 15, article 16, article 19, 29 and 30 are exclusively available to citizens. Okay, so these are the basic characteristic of fundamental. Also are there, there is some person, some article, some are fundamental rights are negative in nature, some fundamental rights are positive in nature, because the word not, the state shall not. Okay, so these are the things about the features of fundamental rights. Okay, so kindly that is summary discussion on, that is articles in part 3. Article, that is part 3, if you look at this, you will find that from article 12 to 35, that is part 3. Okay, now yes, I'm fine Deepak, I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so article 12 में क्या है? article 12 में definition of states. Okay, for example in article that is in article 15, suppose there is article 15 में लिखा है, the state shall not discriminate, the state shall not discriminate any person on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. नहीं? So here, for example, I'm giving an example. Here, who is the state? Who is the state? State is who? Who is the state? That is the definition we will find in Article 14. Article 14 में ये discussion है. Article 15 में 12 में sorry 12 में ये discussion दिया गया है. ये definition दिया गया है कि state कौन है? कौन state है ये? सिर्फ government state है या other कोई state भी हो सकता है? Yes. It contains a broader definition of state. So state may be union executive. Okay, state may be union executive. State may be union. That is, yeah, who is state? Who are state? It gives a hello because how are you? Okay, so it gives a broader definition of state. A broader definition of states. Broader definition of states. That means what constitutes state constitutes what? First is union executive, the prime minister, the president, all are states. The union legislature is also a state. Okay, so that is parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Okay, thank you. Because number 3, state executive, governor, chief minister, council of ministers, advocate general, all of them will come under the scanner of that is state legislature, Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, everybody that comes under. Okay, that is the number 5, local self government, that is your panchayat raj and municipality, they are also a state. Number 6, public institutions. Okay, trick is not recursive. We will have to remember only some important articles. Okay, so don't believe everything is a trick. Everything is a trick. If we remember only some important articles, then it is a trick. Okay, so remembering the trick, and I have told you while discussing the parts also that there is a sequence. Suppose some articles comes on fundamental rights, and if some articles are not within the 12 to 35, then they will be scrapped, they will be eliminated. Okay, so in this way you have to remember that which article can be placed in which part. If we remember the proper sequence of the part, then you can remember the articles. Okay, are you getting my point or not? Because okay, that is the things. We have to remember the sequence, understand the system first. Why there is a union and territory in part 1, why there is union citizenship in part 2, why there are fundamental rights in part 3, TPSP in part 4. So fundamental parts are there since the basic parts are there. Okay, if any article comes from that part, you can easily imagine that where can it be placed. Okay, so public institutions like colleges, universities. Okay, universities. Then 7, public corporations, both central government and state government corporations, public corporations, companies. Okay. Okay, number 8, anybody or person working for the state. So even a primary school is a state. Okay, nobody can violate. These are a broader definition of state. Then look at this. Who is not included in this list? Who is the major organ that is not included in this list? Yes, anybody can say. Who is excluded? Who is not found in this list? हम किसी एक important organ को इस list में नहीं पाते हैं, नहीं मिला सकते हैं. कौन रूल्स कौन है जो द डेफिनेशन ऑफ स्टेट के अंदर नहीं आता है? What does not come under the definition of state is, yes, anybody can say yes. Okay, kindly answer. So these are the states, broader definition of the states, and anybody out of them if violates fundamental rights, then they will be come to question, or they will be sued, or they will be the cases will be lodged against them. Okay, so no one is above, no one is accepted except one body. Who is not there? Who is not there? Yes. Okay, let me tell, right? Judiciary does not come under the definition of definition of states. Definition of states. Okay, so that is the things. Okay, so kindly remember that judiciary does not come under the definition of state. But if judges' personal capacities, if they violate law, if they did something that is against the constitution, then they will be brought under the definition of state. But when they act on behalf of the judiciary, they do not come under the definition of state. Okay, then your article 13, definition of law. What does article 13 says? Okay, the any law, any law. Okay, let me write any law that is inconsistent. Okay, so as it is a although we will have to go swift speedily, but we cannot skip some important aspects, therefore I am discussing. Okay, inconsistent with fundamental rights can be declared declared void, that is void, or ultra virus, or illegal. Any law. Okay, so what is law in this article? What is the law in this article? Okay, law is that any constitutional provision, that is parliamentary acts, state legislative acts, state legislative acts, executive resolution orders, any custom or traditions. Okay, so these are laws. Okay, these are laws, or any legal codes, that is IPC, Indian Penal Code. Okay, these are the law, and okay, these are the laws you have to examine. Okay, now as per Kesavananda Bharti case 1973, a constitutional amendment act, a constitutional amendment act under article what article 368, it's also sorry that is sorry okay, that comes that is also comes under the definition of law. Definition of law. Okay, so that is it's Keshavananda Bharati case. That is also a question sometimes in various public service examinations. You will find that under which case it was made that the Constitutional Amendment Act is also a law. So if a Constitutional Amendment Act violates fundamental rights, then that will be declared that is it will be declared ultra virus. Okay, the state has been wider sense as to include all parts of the agency as per the Apex Code. A private body working as an instrument of state falls within the definition. Okay, if a private body working on the electoral rolls, or if a private body helping the state in various measures, then it will also be come under the definition of state. So it has a broader definition. Okay, now we shall see the next, right to equality. Right to equality में हम देखेंगे क्या. Now what is equality? Equality means absence of privileges. So there are various every citizen assured equality before law and equal protection of law. Okay, no discrimination can be made. So Article 14, Article 14, Article 14 is equality before law. Equality before law. Okay, so equality before law means means what? The rule of law. Rule of law. Okay, rule of law. Like no one is above law. Okay, the concept is derived from or taken from is taken from the UK Constitution. The UK. It was it was proposed by it was proposed by A.B. Dicey. A.B. Dicey proposed it. Okay. Rule of law. Okay, not rule of man. So Article 14 is rule of law, equality before law. All are equal in the eyes of law. Okay, so that is Article 14. Okay, now you will see that the things you will see that that is UK A.B. Dicey was there. He proposed rule of law. Now we shall see the that is equal protection of law. Equal protection of law. Okay, equal Article 14. Equal protection of law. Equal protection of law means that is equals should be treated equally in equal circumstances. That means suppose a law is made for women, then that law will be only applied for women, not men. So you cannot say that it is a discrimination. Okay. So if the government makes some measures for cyclone affected people in our state, okay, then it will be non-cyclone affected people will not be covered under the law. So that is called equal protection of law means equal should be treated equally in equal circumstances. Okay, it was taken from the USA Constitution. From the USA Constitution. Okay, so that is the things you have to remember. It was taken, and equal protection of law and equality before law is not there. Okay, some exempted cases are there. Exempted means those who cannot come under exempted people, the exempted officers, the persons. Okay, persons. That is president. President is cannot be president, and governor. Okay, then foreign heads, President of America, foreign heads, diplomats, diplomats, UN officials, UN officials, okay, cannot be arrested or detained, okay, or and no criminal cases can be, please look at this, can be initiated against the president, against the president and the governor during their tenure. So no criminal proceedings can be made. That is called exempted officers. Okay, president, governor, foreign aides, diplomats, and officials. They cannot be arrested, detained, and no criminal cases can be initiated against the president and governor during their tenure. Okay, so that is the things. However, civil proceedings can be initiated after giving 2 months notice to the president. Okay, so that is called article 14. Then article 15 is non-discrimination, non-discrimination, partial treatment, non-discrimination on the grounds of, that is, religion, religion, caste, race, sex, and birth. Place of birth. Okay, so that is place of birth. Okay, so that is the things. Okay, so that is anti-discrimination. Then what is 16? 16 is, what is 16? Article 16 is, just we are looking over some articles. That is right to equality in public employment. Right to equality in public employment. Okay, so that the right to equality in public employment, not private employment. Okay, and the, however, parliament can make provisions for SC, ST, OBC, and women. Okay, so it is positive discrimination is provided, although everybody has equality to public offices, but some sections of the society should be given reservation for enabling them to develop or to come to the mainstream. Okay, so therefore right to equality is not absolute, that some restrictions can be met. Okay, so right to equality. Then article 17, just we are going through or looking over just some important aspects. Okay, so that is your abolition of untouchability. So there was a act, that is Protection of Civil Rights Act. It was Untouchability Act 1955. Later it became Protection of Civil Rights Act. Protection of Civil Rights Act is there. Okay, under it, practicing untouchability is a crime. Okay, so protection of 19, that is 1955 में Untouchability Act हुआ था. So later it became to known as Protection of Civil Rights Act in 1976. So that is called abolition of untouchability. No one can be, because untouchability was there. Okay, now article 18 is abolition of certain titles except academic and that is civilian and that is military titles, military hours, titles or hours. Okay, so abolition of titles, that's hereditary titles, because it created inferiority complex in our mind. Somebody was Rai Bahadur or somebody was that is Maharaja. These are the terms applied before or after the names of a person that created. You see that created inferiority complex in our mind. So the constitution abolishes this type of inequality, and but it does not prevent the state from according from conferring academic titles like engineer, doctorate, or civilian titles like Bharat Ratna, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, military titles like your Parambir Chakra, Veer Chakra, and that is also peacetime hour like Ashok Chakra, Kirti Chakra, Shaurya Chakra. Okay, and wartime hour, Parambir Chakra, Mahavir Chakra, Veer Chakra, these kind of hour can be awarded, but it is not hereditary, because one person who receives Parambir Chakra, his son or his children cannot use the title. Okay, so therefore, suppose one has been conferred with Bharat Ratna, his children will not use the Bharat Ratna unless they receive the Bharat Ratna. Okay, therefore, the title is abolition of titles of certain titles except academic and civilian titles. Okay, now we shall see the next thing about. Okay, it was inserted in the constitution by the 86th amendment. Okay, 21A. So now we shall discuss the that is your right to, that is right to freedom. Freedom is not there. Right to freedom. Okay. So now that is we shall move to right to freedom. Okay. So here I am writing right to freedom. Right to freedom. Okay, right to freedom. That is how many articles? Articles 19 to 22. Okay, 19 to 22 is there, and 19 is article 19 is 19 is about right to freedom. Right to freedom. Okay, right to freedom of speech. Okay, speech and expression. Speech and expression. Then right to number two as to assemble, right to assembly, okay, assemble peaceably without arms. Number three, that is right to form union, association, and cooperative societies. Cooperative societies, and that was added by, that was added by, this article is added by 97th Constitutional Amendment Act 2011. Okay, that was not there. So number three. Number four is about right to movement, freedom to movement. Five, to residence, freedom to residence, reside anywhere. Six, freedom of occupation or profession, occupation or profession. Okay, so these are the six fundamental freedoms provided in Article 9. In right to freedom of speech and expression, man, you will find freedom of media, okay, and freedom of speech, silence, also silence is also a fundamental right. So there are inherent rights, and here right to assembly means to demonstration, right to strike is not there. Okay, and form union association में you can to form political parties, to form political party or to political organization or NGO. You can form, that is to form political party is also inherent right in Article 3. Okay, right to movement is there, right to residence is there, that is the right to freedom. Okay, then then we shall move to the next slide. देन आर्टिकल 21 जो होता है 21 आर्टिकल 21 में सॉरी ओके राइट टू दैट इज 21 में 21 so what is 20 article 20 is protection against that is double jeopardy. Double jeopardy means no person can be convicted for the same offense twice. Okay, then number 2, no ex post facto law. That means it means a person can be convicted in accordance with the law prevalent at the time of that is what commission of the crime. Commission of a crime. Okay, no ex अर्थात no before law, no after law. Only when the person convicted the crime, okay, committed the crime, he will be punished in accordance with the law that was prevalent on that particular day. If law had been changed after the day after the crime was committed, then it will not be applicable. Only the law that is applicable only that was prevalent at the time of commission. No ex, no post. Okay, that is called no ex post facto law. Then another thing is there also. Another thing that is okay, no self-incriminations. No self-incrimination. Okay, another is law is there also. No self-incrimination can be made. No self-incrimination. No self. Okay, then next thing about it is no sorry no there is no self-incrimination. No self-incrimination means no person can be forced to be a witness against himself or herself. Okay, that is called. So article 20 में हम तीन चीज हमको मिलता है. One is no double jeopardy, another is no ex post facto law, and no self-incrimination. Okay, that is article 20. Then article 21, that is right to life, personal liberty, as per procedure established by law. So procedure established by law is mentioned in which article? Article 21. Okay, procedure established by law is it also it is a composite life. किसी का जिंदगी है मतलब ये नहीं है कि राइट टू लाइफ है. अगर किसी आदमी ने फुटपाथ पर रह रहा है और फुटपाथ पर सो रहा है और उससे देयर इज नो रूफ ओवर हिज हेड, यू कैन नॉट से दैट ही इज हैविंग द राइट टू लाइफ. ओके, so right to life is a composite life. Supreme Court from time to time has added many rights under right to life. Okay, for example, that is implied rights. Okay, first is right to privacy. I'm writing some important one, but please check the book and get also other information. Okay, right to health. Number three, right to shelter. Number four, right to sleep. Okay, so these are the rights. You can also write you can write also that is okay, right to life. Then number five, you can write the right to here. Okay, then number five, right to information. There are various sometimes question comes also. Which right is conduct that is falls under this right? Right to information, right to education. Right against handcuffing, right to rest. Okay, there are various rights implied under it. Kindly check the things. Okay, kindly check the things because they will also be asked in your examination. Okay, that is the things, and also go through them. Okay, just I'm giving you hints because we have we have less time. So that is we now will discuss that is 21. Right, the right right 21, article 21, article 20 and is there. Okay, article 21 that is sorry. Okay, so article 21 is there. Article 21, 21A. It was inserted by the Constitution 86th Amendment Act 2002. That is right to free and compulsory elementary education, not higher education, elementary education. That is right to 21. It was inserted by 2002, and active act was specially made to implement them. Then active act came into effect on 1st November April 2010. When did right to education came into effect? The answer is 1 April 2010. Kindly remember this article. Okay, that is important. It was added by 86th Amendment. Now 22 is protection against arrest and detention. That is also called preventive detention. There are two types of preventive detention. One is punitive, another is preventive detention. So article 22 में है क्या? 22 में है when a person is arrested illegally or by arrested, he has certain rights. He has certain rights. What are the rights? Right to know why he is arrested, right to inform or right to consult a legal practitioner. Okay, so these are the rights available. But when a person is arrested under a preventive detention law, it is not available to him. Okay, suppose for preventive detention law like NSA, National Security Act. Okay, NSA to National Security Act. Under if a person is arrested under National Security Act, he will not avail this protection. Okay, so 22 is about protection against arrest and detention. It also deals with what will happen in case of preventive detention. Okay, now right against exploitation में okay to prevent exploitation by men and men. So 23 में क्या है? It is 23 में okay protection against human trafficking and beggar. Beggar means what? Forced labor. You are not beggar. That is that we see on the footpath or on the roads. So it is forced labor. Forced labor. Okay, forced labor. Beggar. So that is provided in the 20. There are many acts have been prepared. Okay. Article 24 is abolition of child labor. Abolition of child labor. So that is for protection of prevention of child labor act was enacted in 1986. So it was also amended in 2016. Okay, now a child is not entitled to be employed in any occupation below 14. A child below 14 cannot be employed in any occupation. Okay, so there has been dramatic changes. India is home to largest child laborers in the world. Still, but there are stringent laws and there are laws also to check it. Okay, 24. Now, sir, we are going very rapidly because you have your crash course, so we cannot go detail on that. Okay, freedom of religion में ऐसी कहा गया है 25 to 28. So 25 is your right to conscience, right to freedom. That is sorry, freedom of conscience, freedom of conscience. Okay, conscience to propagate or practice any religion. There is freedom of religion. Under it, right to convert is an implied right. Okay, you can convert to any religion, and that was made by Supreme Court in the famous Sadia cases. Sadia case 2018 perhaps Sadia case. Okay, in famous Sadia case that was made that right to Sadia. There is a question also we shall discuss that. Okay, so that is in famous right to convert is a fundamental rights. Okay, now 26. 26 is equal to freedom to manage religious affairs. So establishment of mosques, establishment of religious organizations, and to have own property for that purpose comes under these articles. Okay, protection against taxation for the promotion of religion. Okay, just I am writing the crux or main point of each article. Okay, here it is freedom to attend religious instructions. Just remember the things, okay? You will be helpful. Religious instructions, okay? You can attend, you cannot attend, that is not a case, okay? So that is the things. 26 freedom manage and cultural and education. So we have already attending religions, then we have already discussed it, not needed. Then article 29, 30, 29, article 29 provides for preservation of language, script and culture of minorities. So that is what type of minorities are there. There are two types of minorities. One is your religious, one is religious and linguistic. Okay. So these their interest, their language, their script, their culture. Okay, they are also important because they are also part and parcel of our country and we are all citizens. So their language, the minority language, minority script should be preserved also, and states should take solid measures to improve and to preserve these things. Okay, because otherwise they will not feel like citizens living in a democratic country. With the religious and minority, that is maintenance of religious instructions. Okay, so that is also you have to remember, establish and maintain. Okay, that is the things. And right to property I have already discussed it in 301. Then right to constitutional remedies is 32, is very soul of the constitution. Under it, it is meant for enforcement of fundamental rights only. Enforcement of fundamental rights. Okay. And what does it do? It is under this article. It is done. Okay. It is under this article. The Supreme Court issues writs like, what are the writs? Yes, remember, habeas corpus, habeas corpus, mandamus. Okay, these are the name of the writ. Mandamus, quo warranto, quo warranto, prohibition. Okay, so look at the book or look at your book. You will also find the meaning. Then certiorari. Okay, so obvious corpus means to of the body. Mandamus means to command. Covarranto means by what authority. Prohibition means to forbid. Certiorari means to inform or to transfer. These are the writs issued for the by the Supreme Courts in, that is in enforcing fundamental rights only. Okay, only fundamental rights. It is not used for any other purposes. So remember, Article 32 is not used for other purposes. Okay, that is the things. 32, and it is called by B.R. Ambedkar as the very soul and heart of the constitution. So sometimes a question comes also. Kindly remember the things. Okay. Then 33 and 34. Okay, 33, 34 we shall discuss. Then we shall go to the questions. 33. Okay, so 33 is all about restriction upon the enjoyment of fundamental rights by members of armed forces, paramilitary forces, police, intelligence services, like your IP, Intelligence Bureau, then RAW, isn't it? And armed forces like your Army, Navy, and Air Force, paramilitary like CISF, BSF, ITBP. Okay, so there are many Assam Rifles, there are many CRPF, there are many there is restrictions. Why? So restriction, who will restrict it? The parliament will restrict it for discipline purpose, for unity and for the interest of the country, for the unity and integrity of the country, for discipline and security reasons. Some restrictions can be put on the fundamental rights of the these people. Members means here employees of the army and other bodies. Okay, and these people are denied right to freedom of that, restricted right to freedom of speech, right to right to communicate with media, right to form political parties, right to form association. Okay, these are the things that are restricted. Right to form association, right to freedom of speech, right to attend any public meeting, right to communicate with media. These are the things about the Article 33. Okay. Now Article 34. 34 is all about suspension of fundamental rights when martial law, martial or military, martial means military rule is in operation. Okay, so when martial law is in operation, the fundamental rights can be suspended. Okay, but remember Article 20 and Article 21, Article 20 and 21 not to be suspended. Okay, so that is called martial law. Then your Article 35. Article 35 is all about the parliament. The parliament can regulate laws, can make laws to give effect to fundamental rights. So only parliament can do, no other, neither state legislature, nobody can get it. Okay, so that is the things about the Article 35. Okay, now we shall move to the next slide, amendability of fundamental rights. Okay, that is in the famous Kesavananda Bharati case, Bharati case, Bharati case, it was made clear that fundamental right, fundamental rights or part 3 can be amended under Article 368 by the Parliament of India. So it is the famous case in which case it was made clear that fundamental rights of part 3 can be amended. That is Article 368, although the case came upon in Shankari Prasad versus Union of India in 1951, but the latter in Goloknath case 1967, the Supreme Court held that fundamental rights cannot be amended. Okay, that cannot be amended, and that they are sacrosanct and pivotal part of the constitution. They cannot be amended. So that is the things about the amendability of the fundamental rights. Okay, now we shall move to the next thing, that is questions we will discuss. Okay, MCQs on fundamental rights. Okay, MCQs on fundamental rights. Okay, if we don't discuss a little bit, how can we complete? I don't think so. So therefore, I am just briefing your theory part. Okay, so MCQs on fundamental rights. Okay, now should we start? Yes. Okay. So consider the following statement: a constitutional government is one which places effective restriction on individuals' liberty in the interest of the state authority, or places effective restriction on the authority of the state in the interest of individual. That is number two. Number two is that is right. Number two. Okay. So only two is right, because the effective restriction on the authority of the state. State is regulated. It is hence that fundamental. Hence it is said. Hence it is rightly said. Rightly said that fundamental rights promote limited government. They limit the power of government. Limited government. So that is the things. Okay, so that is the things why we call. So here places effective restriction on the authority of the state. So number two. Okay, then we shall move to the next thing. Number two, consider the following statements. Okay, that no one can be compelled means forced. Compelled means forced to sing the national anthem because it will be violative of the right to freedom of speech. Yes. It will be violative of the right to freedom of consent and practice. Yes. There is no provision obliging anyone to sing the national anthem. Yes. So that is number C. कौन सी भी प्रोविजन नहीं है कि हमको कोई बाध्य करे, हमको कोई फोर्स करे कि नेशनल एंथम दैट इज चैंटिंग करने के लिए. इट इज अप टू अस. Okay, whether we are patriots, a little bit of patriotism will make us to stand and pay standing ovation. But there is a act called National Honor Act, and it also regulates the hoisting of flags and singing of national anthems. But it is not forcible. It is not forced. It cannot oblige anyone. That is 1, 2, 3. Answer is C. Now, okay, we shall move to the next slide. That is given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertions and other is labeled as reason. The word minority is not defined in the Constitution of India. Okay, remember 29 article does not mention the minority, so it is correct. 21 article does not mention who are minorities. It only says that protection of minority. So the word minority is not defined in the Constitution. Yes, the Minority Commission is not a constitutional case. Okay, it's not a. So these are the separate things. R is not the correct explanation. So both A and R are right, and R is not a correct, because this is a separate fact. This is a separate fact. Okay, Minorities Commission is not a constitutional body. Yes, but it does not stand as a reason for the above assertions. Okay, so here answer is B. Then we shall see the question number 4. Okay, which of the following is included in the fundamental rights? Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. Okay, that is also known as fundamental rights. Okay, that is Article 23. And prohibition of consumption except for medicinal purposes of intoxicating drinks and purposes, intoxicating drinks and other drugs which are injurious to health. No. Okay, so fundamental rights not included, only one only. Okay. Now, because it is in DPSP, it is not in your that is you can say it is not in your fundamental rights. In fundamental rights, okay. So that is the things you have to remember. Now, okay, article then number 5. Article 3(1) pertains to right to property. No, okay, no. Right to property is a legal right but not a constitutional right. 300A was inserted, that is article right to property. Okay, so that is also right. So also the below statements are correct. You can say that's 2 is correct. B. Okay, so that is also known as correct. Okay, then at the question number 6, maps list with list 2 provisions select on provisions. Article 4, the state shall not discriminate. There are two other options left on the next slide. First, we will see these two options match which article. Citizens shall not discriminate under Article 15. That is Article 15. The states are daily prosecuted by equal protection law within the territory of. The states shall not deny equality before law. That is Article 15. Okay, so age 1 B2 sorry A2 B1 A2 B1 A2 B1 untouchability is abolished in its practice on any form. Okay, so that is 2143 2143 I see 2143. Okay, 2143. So 16 is employment, 17 is alteracy. 2143. 2143. Because age 2143. 2143. Okay. 2143. 2143. So that is your C. Answer is C. So here it is 17. Here it is 16. Article 16. Okay, so 2143 is the answer. Which of the following fundamental rights enshrined in the Constitution belong to citizens? So that is 19 is belonging, 21 is not, 25 is there, 20 is 15 is there. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 4. That is C. Okay, 21 is available to both. Was available to both. So that is the things. Now we shall see the questions. 8. What is the maximum permissible age? That is permissible age. That is a maximum permissible age for employment in any factory or mine. That is 14. Which of the following has been declared as an intrinsic fundamental rights in the famous Hadia case in Supreme Court of India in 2018? Right to convert. Right to convert is the fundamental rights under Article 25 to 25. So it is there, who headed the Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights for the Constituent Assembly, Sardar Patel. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Sardar Patel. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, now the things is right. So now we should go to 11. Which of the following statement is not correct with regards to 32 of the country? Provides remedies to citizens for enforcement of fundamental rights. Yes. It is a part of fundamental rights. Yes. Supreme Court cannot refuse a writ petition. Okay. And under Article 32 of the protection of the Constitution. Yes. Protection under 32 also applies to enforcement of ordinary law, which has nothing to do with law. So that is only fundamental rights. So that is D. Okay, but High Court can go to that extent, can issue writs. Okay, now the question number 12. In which of the following cases Supreme Court held that a constitutional amendment is a law under the definition of Article 13? So here it is based on series, that is question number 1. Yes. Okay. And which committee was appointed to identify the creamy layer of BC? Ramnandan Committee in 1992 or 93. Creamy layer means persons with a specific income, in the OBC category, in the backward class. Okay, so now it is above rupees 8 lakh per month. Okay, so that was 1 lakh, then now it is 8 lakh per month. 13. Okay. Now 14. Which of the following is correct? The president or the governor uh, is not answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the duties. Yes. No member of parliament shall be liable to any proceeding, any court in respect to anything said or done in the parliament. Yes. The foreign sovereign ambassadors, diplomats do not enjoy immunity from criminal and civil liability. No, they enjoy. Okay, that is also right. So answer is C. Okay, C is the answer. Kindly, that is C is the answer because they enjoy fundamental immunity. That is immunity means they cannot be arrested. Okay, so that is incorrect. Okay, now we shall move to the next question. 15. In which year Protection of Civil Rights Act came into effect? Protection of Civil Rights Act came into effect, that is Protection of Child 1976. Okay, that is 1976. It was Untouchability Act before. Okay, it was known as Untouchability Act. Untouchability Prevention Act 1955. Okay, so now it is called as Protection of Civil Rights Act. It is 1976. Right to Education Act came into effect in 2010, that is April 1. So kindly remember the things, very important. Okay, so that is also you have to remember. Education Act came into act, but it was provided by 86th. Then 17, there is no specific provision, express provisions in the Constitution that authorizes executive to declare law. Uh, yes, it implicit in 34, which national vocabulary. Yes, so both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, so that is both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, according to the Supreme Court of India, right to internet access is a fundamental right under Article C. Right to internet access. Okay. Given below are some statements under the Constitution of India. No person shall be compelled to pay any tax for the promotion. Yes, that is a thing also. Okay, that is a thing. Remember. Okay. Now you can. This is in keeping with the secular characteristics of the Constitution. In the context of both here and because there is no religious tax in our country there, so because we are a secular country, so therefore there is a A is the answer. Both A and R are as the answer. Consider the following statements. Article 12 of the Constitution of India provides definition of states. Yes. Judiciary also come under the definition of state law. Okay, so the 20 is there is only two is the answer. So only one is the answer. Okay, it is the 20. Okay, so now these are the questions. Okay, so now you can move it. Okay, so now we shall see the 4 is gone. Okay, now we shall discuss the fundamental rights beyond part 3. Okay, guys, now we have finished. Okay, we have some times. I shall continue. Okay, so don't worry that I will not continue. I will continue whatever may be the strength of yours. Okay, so we shall now look at the title Rights Beyond Part 3. Rights Beyond Part 3 means that is you can say other rights mentioned outside your part 3. They are not fundamental rights, but they are rights. These are also no tax, that is freedom of taxation. No tax can be collected except by authority of law. So no right against. What is the right? Right against arbitrary taxation. So if a question comes, what is the right against arbitrary taxation? You can write it that it is Article 265 in the Constitution Part 12. Okay, so that is 265. Are you getting my point or not? So that is the things. What type of question comes? That is, you have to realize that while studying, you have to realize. Okay, while realizing the Okay, so rights against and no person shall be deprived of his property to say right to property. That is right to property. I have discussed already. That is right to property. Okay, now it is right to property. Okay, so right to property. Exactly know the things. Okay, so that you can answer it. Okay, then trade and commerce intercourse. Right to trade. Right to trade. These are the things. Okay, that is Article 301. So these are the rights you have to remember. One, two, three. These are rights beyond. So sometimes a question comes that right against arbitrary taxation is a fundamental right or not. Okay, so you have to accordingly you have to choose your option accordingly. Okay, remember they are not fundamental rights, but they are enforceable. Not that they are very light, that they're light in importance. They are very important also, but they are not mentioned in that is your okay. So now go to the DPSP. Okay, just I will tell you something about DPSP, then we shall move to the question. Don't worry, we will not waste time because being a crash course and quality maybe of 20 marks. Okay, any 20 or that some. What is the mark in quality for your examination? Yes, what is the prescribed mark? Anyone can write here. I want to know. Anyway, DPSPs promote social and economic democracy or rights. Okay, fundamental rights promote political and equality, democracy, and DPSPs promote social and economic rights. It aims at is aimed at establishing a welfare state. Okay, then however they are not enforceable. That means they cannot be enforced or they cannot be just made justiciable. Okay, because of lack of adequate resources. Okay, to implement the PSP we need money, we need resources. Otherwise, we cannot implement them. Okay, so therefore the PSPs are known as that is that they're and not enforceable. They are not. We can write that they are non-justiciable. Okay, so that is the things you have to now. You can also write that the PSPs are taken from 1937 Irish Constitution. Ambedkar describes them as noble teachers. Austin describes them as conscience of the one is watching. Okay. DP speech are taken. We shall complete the class. Don't worry. That is DP speech are taken from 37 Irish Constitution. Ambedkar describes them as model features. Austin describes them as concepts. These are very important for your exam point of view. Okay. Now we shall go to the next thing. Characteristics we have discussed, non-justiciable and other things, and then we shall move to the next classifications. The PSPs are classified on the basis of their content. Okay, one is that is your socialistic principles. The content that is meant for meant for achieving social equality and social prosperity. So basically, these list contain provisions for SC, ST, women, and common people. Okay, so these are called socialistic principles, and there are about you can say there are about three, four. Okay, so these are the called DPS page, and there are about say 7 to 8 articles. Then we have Gandhian principles. Gandhian principles that are Article 40, that is, you can see that is village panchayats. Okay, so all these things are there in your book. Please look at them. Just I have given, just I have taken something for your understanding that is importance. Village panchayats. Okay, promote cottage industry, that is also important. Promotion cooperative, educational interest of the CST, bring about interest of private slaughter and cows. Okay, so these are the things. Then there is Western liberal pursuits, that is important. Uniform civil code, sometimes every time you count in your exam. Uniform civil code for all citizens. That is also not that is important. Right to education is amended. It is amended by 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002. Okay. Then 48A was added by 42nd Amendment Act. Okay. Then 49 protect monuments, separation of judiciary, promote international. These are the important articles that comes, and you can also write about to that 41 right to work also there, right to work. Okay, you can also discuss right to work. Okay, right to work also there, right to work. 41 article, sorry, so sorry, right to work is an article 41. Okay, then 43, and that is protection of human condition of war, maternity relief, that is article 43. So these are the important things that I am telling you about your exam. Okay, therefore, so that is Gandhian principle, Western liberal fundamental duties are there. So we shall have a focus on fundamental duties also. Duties are that is not present. Some important lines. Duties, duties were not mentioned in in original constitution. It was added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. It is found in part IV, right? 51A. duties are not enforceable. Okay, and you will go through the duties also. They are meant for the interest of the country, for the environment, for the monuments. Okay, so in a nutshell, we can say that fundamental duties are meant for that making us a responsible citizen in the country. We should abide by the duties because as a citizen we avail rights. So we have all we should have a sense that there should be duties also are our own, and we should perform that our duties to the best extent possible. Okay, and these duties were recommended by Sardar Soran Singh Committee. Okay, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. You can write fundamental fundamental duties were recommended by Sardar Soran Singh Committee. Okay, and other things you have to go through the topic. There are you can write there were 10 fundamental duties. Originally, the 11th fundamental duty was added by 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002. These are the things. Okay, yes. So, okay. So, 11 fundamental duties added by 86th Constitutional Amendment and 10 fundamental duties originally there, and there are now the 11 fundamental duties. Okay, so that is the things. DPSP is outside the outside the part IB. DPSPs are contained in which article? In part IB means 35, 36 to 51. But there are certain other fundamental that is DPSPs are also found beyond part IB means in other parts. As we saw that fundamental rights are also some rights are found beyond part 3, so also we'll see that some rights also some DPSPs are also found in other parts. Okay, not in part IB because DPSPs are instructions to the government, positive instructions to the government. So wherever you find an instructive provision, it is DPSP. So claims of ST and ST under Article 335. Okay, that is 335 PF instruction in mother tongue. So here the government is directed to perform then development of Hindi language under Article 351. So these are the DPSPs. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3. So there are three other because all the DPSPs, all the DPSPs are positive instructions to the state means any government, and article 36 in this part contains definition of Definition of state. Okay, 36. Okay, so these are the things you have to remember. These are very exam specific things, and Hindi language, that is your language part, in 17th part you will find the things. Okay, so that are the things. Now some of the question part also. Multiple choice questions. Okay. Consider the following statements. There are 12 fundamental duties laid down in the Constitution. There are 12 fundamental duties. No, there are 11. So that is the things. Okay, laid down in the Constitution of India for ever, for every citizen, of India. No, there is no provision of the Constitution of India direct enforcement of fundamental rights. One of the fundamental duties of every citizen of India is to cast his or vote. No. So which of the statement is correct? Okay, two only. There is the things. Okay, there are no 12. There are no 12. There are 11 fundamental duties. Okay, so therefore it is wrong. It is 11. Okay. Now number two, the concept of socioeconomic planning has been found mentioned in which of the following list in the seventh schedule. Socioeconomic planning is mentioned in part in concurrent list. Okay, there are 52 items in concurrent list, and therefore their economic planning is there. Consider the following provisions under the directive principle of state policy as is enshrined in the Constitution of India. Okay, securing citizenship, uniform civil code, organizing village panchayat, promoting cottage industry in rural areas, securing for all the workers reasonable leisure and cultural opportunities. Okay, so I think 2 and 3 is the Gandhian, which of the above are the Gandhian principles. Okay, so let me see whether the option, yes, 2 and 3 will be the answer. So answer is 2 and 3, because that was a social principle. Under constitutional arrangement, the state can impose reasonable restriction on the exercise of freedom of speech and expression on the grounds which of the following constitute. Okay, so that is the thing. Sovereignty and unity और integrity के restriction हो सकता है. Security of the state ये भी हो सकता है. Friendly relation, effective interstate relationship is not there. So freedom of speech cannot be. Contempt of court के लिए भी freedom of speech restrict किया जा सकता है. So 1, 2, 3 and 5 answer is C. Okay. A, B, C and D. So answer C. Okay. Then which of the following that has been included in the Constitution of India through 86th Amendment Act? Following duties. Which of the following duties? So for a parent or guardian to provide opportunity age to 16 to 14. For a parent's age of 6, no. Okay, so that is the answer A. 16 to 18, that is 16 to 14 is there. So that is the duty of the fundamental duty of the people, of parents and words. Okay, now we are just going through which of the following is not a DPSP in the Indian Constitution. Raise the level of nutrition, develop scientific temper is a fundamental duty. Accuracy on others are fundamental directive principle of state policy. Assertions DPSPs are made non-justiciable by the Constitution. Country doesn't make may not be able to write at a time. So that is A and R as the correct explanation. So answer is D. Okay. Which of the following is not indicative of the difference between fundamental rights? Okay, we shall see it. That is, directive principles are aimed at promoting social welfare. Yes. Fundamental rights are used for protecting the individual from the state influence. Yes. Fundamental rights are limitation on state action while DPSPs are positive instructions. Yes. Not. It's not. Fundamental rights were included in the original constitution. DPSPs were original no. Fundamental rights are amendable, but DPSPs are not. So not correct में 3 and 4. Okay, so 3 and 4 we shall see 3 and 4. 3 and 4 will be the answer. Okay, that is B. Economic justice is one of the objectives of Indian constitution has been provided in preamble and DPSP because in preamble economic justice is mentioned and in DPSP that is provided. So B will be the answer. 10. Which of the following are among fundamental duties of citizen later on? Preserve the rich heritage, yes, that is right. Protect the weaker section of the social injustice, no. Develop scientific thinker, yes. Strive towards excellence, yes. So that is 1, 3, 4. So answer is C. Okay, answer is C. Then which of the following is correct? DPSPs are that is are justiciable in nature. DPSPs are justiciable in nature. Yes. Not justiciable. Which of the following is not justiciable? So that is not correct. The provision of DPSP is derived from Russian constitution. No. Equal pay for equal, no. That is DPSP promotes social and economic democracy. D. Under the Constitution of India, which one of the following is not a fundamental duty? Okay, that is answer is D. Vote in public election is not a fundamental duty. Okay. Now, which of the following is correct? Fundamental duties are part of the fundamental rights. No, so that is wrong. Fundamental duties are a part. Sorry, it is wrong. Okay, that is right. Are not a part. Fundamental duties are a part of no. Fundamental duties are enumerated in part of the IB of the Constitution. Yes. 51 contains 11 duties. Yes. Answer is B. Okay, answer is B because others are correct. Means incorrect में दिया है. So that is you can erase it. Answer is B. Now you can in the promotion of cooperative societies and in Article 43B was parted by 97th Amendment Act 2011. That is 2011. Okay, cooperative societies. Okay, now 15. Consider the following statement: promote international peace and security. Okay, so stick to non-proliferation nuclear weapons, maintain just honorable relations between the nation, foster respect for international property and fair settlement disputes. So which of the above are contained in 51? It is not mentioned, but you will mentioned also. So 1, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. B. Because it is not there. It is not there in the Article 51. Okay, so that is there. Then who is watching the only guy? Yes. So 15 non-proliferation. 16. Which of the following was fast conflict between the that is Durairazan case 1951. 1951. Okay, so that is the 1967. It is 1980 and it is 1973. Answer is D. Which of the following is a fundamental duties in India? PJ to value, preserve, resettle, free compulsory education, promotion of public society. So that is B. 17. fundamental duties has been added to IBA by that is 86th Amendment Act. Okay, 96th is ODI became ODI. Okay, 91st is the size of the ministry. Okay, size of the ministry to 15%. Fundamental duties added to by protection. Original there were protection, so both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, so that is 19. Then consider the following statements. Uniform Civil Code is provided in Part IV, right? Goa is the only state who have introduced it to the right. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay. Equal pay for equal labor has been ensured in the Indian Constitution as one of the DPSP. In socialistic principle, you will find equal pay for equal work, equal pay for equal. In 39, you will find equal pay for equal work. In 39D, okay, 39D, that is the things. Okay, which directive principles bear the direct impact of Gandhi's moral principles? So that is your provision of people, slaughter of cows, protection of animals. So that is slaughter of cows. That is in Gandhian principles, and it is found in 40, 40 that is 7. Yes. Okay. So prohibition of slaughter of cows is a Gandhian principle. It is a socialistic principles. It is a socialistic principles. Okay, it is a liberal principles. It is also a liberal principles. Separation of judiciary from the executive is a subject matter of DPSP under Article 50. Article 50. Okay, that is D. So now, okay, now consider the following statements. Article 39A provides for free legal aid to the poor. Yes. National Legal Services Authority has been established to facilitate it. Okay, so both 1 and 2 answer. The instrument of instruction contained in the Government of India has been incorporated in the Constitution of India in the year as DPSP. That is called DPSP. Okay. So very low attendance. Okay, is there any problem? Okay, kindly write to me. Please attend the class. Otherwise, you will be lagging behind. Don't feel yourself. Don't feel yourself fully prepared. Always attend the class. That is the most important thing, because unless we attend the class, we cannot know. So something might have been left. Okay. So thank you very much for watching. Yogesh, Vikas, Deepak. Thanks all. Okay. See you in the next class with Union Executive. Okay. Thank you very much. Please allow me to leave the class.